Okay, let's just imagine for a second. What if you could have a personal English tutor right there with you 24/7, and it costs, well, absolutely nothing? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, today we're going to lay out the exact blueprint to make that happen, all by using some incredible and totally free AI tools. Let's dive in. For the longest time, learning English felt like trying to get into an exclusive club. Think about it. Super expensive tutors, class schedules that were impossible to keep, and software that cost a fortune. It was like there were these huge walls up, keeping out anyone who didn't have a ton of time or money. Well, guess what? That whole era, it's done. It's over. Artificial intelligence has just come in and completely flattened those walls. It's basically democratized language learning for everyone. So the real question I have for you is, are you ready to meet this new tutor? Because this one's available at 3 in the morning, it tailors every single lesson just for you, and you can ask it the same question 100 times, and it will never, ever get tired of explaining.
All right, so let's get into it. And make no mistake, this isn't just some small update. It's a full-blown revolution. And this is a big but, to make it work for you, you gotta have a strategy.
Okay, so here's the most important thing to remember right off the bat. AI is not a magic pill. It's not going to learn English for you. You can't just passively watch it or read what it spits out and expect to become fluent. Nope. The key, the absolute key, is to use it strategically. You have to treat it like a real conversation partner, a personal grammar coach, and a content creator that works just for you. That's how you're going to really speed things up.
So where do we start? First things first, we need to build your toolkit. And don't worry, it's all free. We're going to focus on a core ecosystem built around 3, let's call them, foundational tutors.
Okay, take a look at this. The cool thing here is that each of these big 3 has its own superpower. Think of ChatGPT as your go-to for daily chit-chat and role-playing. Seriously, its free models are ridiculously good. Then you've got Google Gemini. This one's your visual learning buddy. You can literally take a picture of a menu, upload it, and ask it to teach you the vocabulary. Plus, its Gemini Live feature lets you have a real-time voice chat, which is amazing. And finally, there's Claude. When you need to focus on reading or writing, Claude's text is probably the most natural and human-sounding of the bunch. All right, so those are your general practitioners. Now let's talk about the specialists. If you need to work on a specific skill, there are tools for that too. For speaking and pronunciation, you've got apps like Linglish that, they literally force you to speak, which is exactly what you need. For writing, tools like Grammarly or Language Tool acts like a little editor sitting on your shoulder, correcting you as you go. And for listening, oh man, Youglish is an absolute game changer. It shows you how a specific word is actually used by real people in thousands of YouTube videos, so you get that real-world context.
Okay, so you've got your toolkit. But having a bunch of fancy tools is useless if you don't know how to use them, right? The secret to unlocking all this power? It all comes down to mastering the art of the prompt.
Let's kick things off with speaking. We all know that feeling, right? Your heart starts pounding when you have to speak in a high-pressure situation, like a job interview. Well, the goal here is to recreate that, but in a totally safe, zero-judgment environment. And this is how you do it. Look at this prompt. It's brilliant. You're not just asking a simple question. You're telling the AI, act as a hiring manager. You're giving it a role. Then you give it a task, conduct an interview. And here's the killer part. Correct my grammar before asking the next question. See, you're asking for instant feedback. That's not passive learning. That is active, powerful learning.
All right, next up, reading. We've all been there. You pick up a book in English and you're just stuck. It's too difficult. So instead of giving up, you can use AI to build what's called a scaffold, basically a support system to help you climb that wall of text. The magic trick in this prompt is telling the AI your level. See how it says, I am a B1 learner? By doing that, you're not getting a PhD level summary. You're getting a version that's tailored to you. It's challenging enough to help you learn, but not so hard that you get discouraged. It lets you get the main ideas down before you even touch the original book. Okay, let's talk about grammar. For most of us, that means boring textbook rules that don't make any sense. We need to get away from that. The real goal isn't to memorize rules. It's to understand how grammar actually works in a normal, everyday conversation. And this prompt is just perfect. Look what it does. It asks for the difference, sure, but then it says, give me 3 everyday examples. That's the context. And then the knockout punch. And then test me with a quiz.
That little addition turns it into a complete learning cycle. Learn, see it in action, and then test yourself, all from one single prompt. And last but not least, vocabulary. Let's just be honest, memorizing long lists of random words is probably the worst way to learn. It just doesn't work. For vocabulary, context is absolutely everything. This prompt here is basically a hack to beat the forgetting curve. You know how you learn a new word and it's gone the next day? Well, by asking for a definition and an example sentence and a short dialogue, you're forcing your brain to see that word in 3 different ways. You're creating multiple connections, and that's what moves a word from your short-term memory to your long-term vocabulary that you can actually use. Okay, so I know I've been singing the praises of AI, and these tools are amazing, but we need to have a quick reality check here. AI is not perfect, and if you want to succeed, you have to know its weaknesses. So let's be smart about this. There are basically 3 big traps you need to avoid. First, something called AI hallucinations. Sometimes the AI will just make up a grammar rule. It'll sound confident, but it's totally wrong. The fix is simple. If a rule sounds weird, just double-check it with a reliable source. Second trap, unnatural perfection. AI speaks perfect textbook English. Real people? We don't. We're messy. So you have to supplement your AI practice by listening to unscripted stuff, podcasts, TV shows, Youglish, to hear how people really talk. And finally, the lack of emotional stakes. The AI won't ever judge you, which is fantastic for building confidence, but it also means there's no pressure. The fix? Use AI as your gym to build your confidence muscle, and then you have to go out and use it with real people. All right, we've talked about the tools, we've talked about the strategies. Now let's get super practical and put it all together into a simple plan you can do every single day. And this right here, this is the magic number. We're not talking about 2 hours a day. We're not even talking about 1 hour. Just 20 minutes. That's it. Because I'm telling you, when it comes to learning a language, consistency will crush intensity every single time. So here's your daily workout. It's just 3 steps. First, 5 minutes is your warm-up. Get the AI to write a short article about something you're actually interested in, sports, movies, whatever, and just read it out loud. Next, minutes 5 to 10, we hit vocabulary and grammar. From that article, find 2 words you don't know and ask the AI to explain them and then quiz you. Simple. And finally, the last 10 minutes, it's go time. This is your speaking simulation. Turn on the voice feature and start one of those role-play conversations we talked about. That's it. It's simple, it's structured, and it is so effective. And you know, that really brings us to the most important point of all of this. These AI tools are incredible, they're powerful, and they are completely free. But they're not the magic ingredient. The real currency here, it's your focus. It's your consistency. That's what's actually going to get you to fluency. So look, the blueprint is here. The tools are all fired up and ready to go. Your own personal AI tutor is literally waiting for you right now. So really, there's only one question left to ask. What will you learn first?